Have you ever noticed that the greatest obstacle in your life is not some external force, but a traitor within your own mind? You set goals, you make plans, yet something inside you actively works to tear it all down. You call it laziness, procrastination, a lack of discipline. But what if I told you that's a lie? A convenient story you tell yourself to avoid a much darker truth. The truth is, your self-sabotage is not a weakness. It is a strategy, a twisted but brilliant form of self-preservation. This isn't about feeling better or finding motivation. This is about understanding the hidden machinery of the human psyche. We live in a world that worships success, yet our deepest instincts are wired for survival. And sometimes survival means staying small, staying hidden. It means avoiding the dangers that come with stepping into the light. The greater the ambition, the greater the perceived threat. Your mind isn't trying to make you fail. It's trying to keep you safe from the imaginary dragons that guard the treasures you seek. This internal conflict isn't a modern problem. It's the timeless human condition. Let's look at a concept called upper limit fear. It's the terrifying, almost subconscious belief that you are only allowed a certain amount of success or happiness. When you get too close to breaking that ceiling, an internal alarm sounds. This is the moment you suddenly lose interest in your project. This is when you pick a fight with a loved one just when things are going perfectly. You create chaos to bring yourself back down to a familiar, safe level of mediocrity. You aren't lazy. You are terrified of the unknown territory that lies beyond your current limits. Your mind would rather choose the familiar pain of failure over the terrifying uncertainty of success. Because at least in failure, you know the rules. Niccolò Machiavelli, a master of human nature, understood this well. He observed that men are so simple and so subject to present necessities that he who seeks to deceive will always find someone who will allow himself to be deceived. But what happens when the deceiver is you? You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow. You convince yourself that you're not good enough. You create an illusion of incompetence to justify inaction. You become both the cunning prince and the willingly deceived subject. Why? Because maintaining the illusion that you could have succeeded if you had only tried is less painful than trying and facing the possibility of actual failure. You're not sabotaging your success. You're protecting your ego from a verdict it cannot bear. You are preserving the dream by never putting it to the test. Let's write this in the comments to anchor this truth. I am not lazy. I am protecting myself from a success I fear. Imagine a woman, an artist of incredible talent. For years, she paints in secret. Her canvas is filled with a genius no one has ever seen. An influential gallery owner discovers her work by chance and offers her a solo exhibition, the dream of a lifetime. The contract is on her table. The world is waiting. And then she stops painting. She starts missing deadlines. She claims her inspiration has vanished. Her friends see her giving up, a tragic case of self-doubt. But what's really happening? In the shadows of her mind, a cold calculation is being made. To succeed means to be seen. To be seen means to be judged. Judged by critics, by the public, by history itself. Her art, once a private sanctuary, would become a public commodity. The failure of the exhibition would be a public execution of her identity as an artist. But by never having the show, her genius remains a private, perfect, and unassailable legend in her own mind. She didn't destroy her career. She sacrificed it to protect her soul. She chose the safety of the shadow over the exposure of the light. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche wrote, "He who fights with monsters should look to it that he himself does not become a monster. And if you gaze long into an abyss, the abyss also gazes into you." You look at your unfulfilled potential as an abyss, a dark void of what could have been. You think you are standing at the edge, looking in, but what if you're mistaken? What if that abyss isn't an absence, but a presence? What if your self-sabotage is the monster you created to guard that abyss, to keep you from falling in? You believe you are fighting against failure, but you are actually in a deadly dance with the fear of your own power. You are so afraid of the greatness you might find at the bottom of that abyss that you've allied yourself with the monster that keeps you at the edge. The twist isn't that you're sabotaging yourself. The twist is that you think you have a choice. This mechanism is now running on autopilot. Let's affirm this together in the comments. I will not let the fear of my own power hold me captive. Now, let's connect this to the idea of a psychological immune system. Just as your body attacks foreign invaders, your psyche attacks anything that threatens its established identity. If you have spent your life seeing yourself as the underdog, the struggling artist, or the one who never gets a break, then sudden success is a virus. It's a foreign entity that threatens the entire narrative of who you are. Your mind, in its desperate attempt to maintain consistency, will trigger self-destructive behavior to fight off this success and return you to the familiar, stable state of being the underdog. You are not addicted to failure. You are addicted to the identity that failure provides. It's a bitter but stable home. Consider the myth of Sisyphus, condemned to forever push a boulder up a hill, only for it to roll back down each time. We see him as a symbol of futile struggle. But the existentialist philosopher Albert Camus invites us to imagine Sisyphus happy. Why? Because in the moment the boulder rolls down, Sisyphus is free. He is no longer burdened by the goal. In that descent, he is the master of his own fate, walking down to meet his rock again. Perhaps your self-sabotage is that moment of release. The moment the project fails, the moment the diet is broken, you are momentarily free from the crushing weight of expectation. You let the boulder roll. In that failure, there is a perverse kind of freedom, the freedom from having to succeed. You don't just let the boulder fall, you give it a little push. Let's declare this in the comments. I am the master of my fate, not a victim of my fears. So we arrive at the final, chilling realization. Your self-sabotage is not a bug in your system. It is a feature. It is the guardian of your comfort zone, the protector of your fragile ego, the architect of your identity. It's an intricate cage you built for yourself, bar by bar, excuse by excuse. You decorated it so well that you now call it home. The world doesn't need another hero who overcame the odds. It is filled with ghosts who chose the safety of the cage over the terror of the open sky. The question is not how to break free. The question is, do you even want to? Look at the chains you clutch so tightly. You call them your weakness, your laziness, your curse. But they feel familiar. They feel safe. They feel like you. The hidden reason you self-sabotage is not that you are afraid of failing. It's that you are terrified of discovering who you would become if you succeeded. Thank you for watching. If this reflection resonated with the depths of your mind, follow this channel for more journeys into the human shadow. The path to understanding is not always bright, but it is always illuminating.